welcome to Podcast vs. Player, episode 221. I'm one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who told me the female version of teabagging is called a flappuccino.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
It's only bloody Dan. Hello. I'ma stay. Win. Win. What are we winning?
Star Trek, I guess, because I finished Strange New Worlds this week.
I've not finished it.
I don't think you've got far to go. We're going to come back and we're going to do a Strange New World, Cal's Strange New World. But traditionally, for the most part, in my opinion, the first season of Star Trek for a new show is usually one of the weaker ones because they're sort of like they're finding their feet, they're finding their characters or whatever. If this is going to be the same, if this is the worst season of this show, season 2 is going to kick ass.
What if they've gone against the grain and this is
that's what I'm concerned about. Like that's genuinely, I'm just sort of like, oh, you know, The Boys, that's 3 seasons in, we're getting another one, and it's only gone strong all the way through. I don't think there's many shows that can pull that off. So I'm quite concerned they might not be able to do it. So we'll have to see. I think it's going to be another year or two before we get it. But the reason I mention it is because I've just seen a bunch of pictures of like the Next Gen crew and the Strange New Worlds crew that have all been at the San Diego Comic-Con, because there's a Picard announcement there. There was a Lower Decks Season 3 trailer. I don't know if you've seen that, but that looks like it could be a really good little show. I'm
actually further into Strange New Worlds than I am Lower Decks.
I think those are the best 2 things that they made for a while.
I really like Lower Decks. It's
really funny.
Before it was on Amazon Prime, it was really awkward to watch. And I kind of gave up. I'll definitely go back to it because it's genuinely very funny, and I do really like it. It is funny.
Yeah, but San Diego Comic-Con has just been a win all round, if you ask me, my friend.
What? And that was, if you'll allow me, Dan, an excellent segue.
Well, I was setting you up for it.
You was. It was very good.
I'm glad you announced it to everyone.
Well, just saying. I just want you to know I appreciate you, Dan.
Good. Do it off air when no one else has to listen to it.
When no one else is listening.
Yeah.
So we've got. I'm just going to kick off, Dan. We've got a much better look at She-Hulk. Not in terms of what we've seen already, but in terms of they fixed her.
Yeah, we know what she's probably going to look like.
She don't look janky no more.
Yeah.
Looks very good.
Although, I'll say that trailer. Do you think, right? Because we've had this pretty much every time that, you know, we'll see like a Loki trailer or a WandaVision trailer or a Falcon trailer or Hawkeye or whatever. We've seen these trailers, and it seems like again they've kind of found their ground with this, and they seem to be pumping out some of these really good shows. We're getting another season of Loki. We're getting an Agatha Harkness show, which I cannot wait for because I think she was absolutely fucking banging in WandaVision.
Oh yeah.
And then we get the sort of new ish trailer for She-Hulk. I have the feeling that potentially She-Hulk could be, other than Loki maybe, that could be the best one that's on Disney Plus. I think so. I think it's going to be really funny. Like Ms. Marvel was really funny in places, and I think that like their whole like working together. Oh, also Ms. Marvel finished as well the other week.
I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, I won't mention. I was that close to just saying something real bad then.
I already know the spoiler.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's really
Thanks, IGN.
Fuckers.
Every time.
But there's like it sort of like it had a really strong start, and then it kind of just it didn't really pay off at the end for me. Not a huge amount anyway. But I think that She-Hulk, they've clearly put a lot of money into it CGI wise. But then they've got Mark Ruffalo to come back, and they've got now we know that fucking Tim Roth is back in it as well. Benedict Wong. Is he Benedict Wong?
Yeah. No.
So he plays Wong and his surname's Wong. That can't be right. Am I just making that up?
I've got a feeling, because I don't know off the top of my head, but I've got a feeling you've fused Wong and Benedict.
No, it is Benedict Wong, yeah.
Yeah,
no, it is. So it is him. But like, so there's some, you know, like we had like in Falcon and Winter Soldier, we had, you know, Bucky and we had Falcon. But other than that, we haven't had any other sort of big players.
Yeah.
Sort of like come into these things. Not a huge amount anyway. So the fact that there's like some names in there, and potentially as well, either a Daredevil cameo or a Daredevil entrance, or because like obviously part of the slate again, we're getting the Daredevil reborn,
born again.
So
Identity.
we know that it's going to be Charlie Cox. Thank Christ, because he's.
You got Vincent Del Toro as well. Vincent Kingpin.
D'Onofrio. There you go. Yeah. So we know that like those are two fan favourites. So you've got to have them, and obviously we've already seen Charlie Cox in Spider-Man.
I'm really hoping that this is.
But I think, just to finish that thought, I think that She-Hulk is. I think it's got more potential than
this
a lot
looks
of the
like.
others.
Even though you've got the likes of Loki and Falcon and Winter Soldier, with the exception of Hawkeye, this one feels more connected to the MCU.
That is my thinking exactly. Yeah.
It's got
because like Loki was just like in other dimensions and times, and Doctor Who and it all over the place. Falcon, but it felt very sort of grounded and central to just those guys. And again, Hawkeye felt kind of the same. You know, it's just him and Kate and just their little story. Whereas this feels, it's like, it's just like, let's just throw a couple of Avengers and a sorcerer and another Hulk monster, and then we've got Hulk, and then it looks like potentially Daredevil being like a rebrand or a relaunch, or potentially it could just be that very same Daredevil, which probably won't be the case, because do you reckon that Foggy and Karen and all of them are going to come
I don't know if we're going to see the likes of, even if they might be in it, but it might not be the same actors and actresses and stuff. But I don't think this is going to be a start fresh Daredevil. I think it's going to be a seasoned veteran.
But it's whether it's going to be that same one. Because again, if he's in it as Matt Murdock as a lawyer, then potentially you've got because Thunderbolts were announced as well.
Yeah.
So John Bernthal as Punisher would obviously be a great choice right out the gate. But what I do think as well is that for She-Hulk, we're going to get General Ross back in being General Ross-ish, and that's how he becomes Red Hulk. Like during that season, I reckon he gets.
I'm going on an opposite. I don't think we're getting a Red Hulk. I think we're getting an Abomination.
Really?
I think Abomination will take the place of Red Hulk in the Thunderbolts.
That's possible, I suppose. But I mean, we've got both of them. So the fact that Tim Roth has kind of come back after like 10 years or whatever, and it's just sort of like, yeah, I'll come back in and do a bit part in Shang-Chi. Presumably he was like a voiceover or whatever.
Yeah.
But now he's come in and he's back in it for real.
This is what makes me think that I reckon you're gonna have I forgot the guy's name now, Captain America from Falcon and Winter Soldier,
John something
Krasinski.
John Krasinski. John Krasinski as Captain America. Then we've got John Krasinski as the Abomination, and then John Krasinski as Daredevil, and John Krasinski as She-Hulk, and then you've got Emily Blunt as Wong,
as John
and that's it. Yeah. So it's John Krasinski playing Emily Blunt playing Benedict Wong.
Yes.
Wow, what a team up!
But no, I think they'll do away with Red Hulk. I think it'll be Abomination. And then I think you'll have someone like Bucky he'll be the Rick Flag of the group. They'll bring in like an actual Avenger to try and keep everyone grounded and reliant on there's a reason why you're here, because something big's got to happen in order to bring these people together.
So we've got what's her name? I can't remember her name now. Who's going around sort of like she's speaking to? Was it John Walker? Is that his name?
John Walker. Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got like, the Captain America, and then potentially there's like, like
you got
Mickey Rourke or whatever. For like, or Justin Hammer maybe. You get Sam Rockwell back and just say, make me an Iron Man, like an evil Iron Man suit or whatever. So, but what if it's General Ross behind all of that, and he's making his sort of like Suicide Squad-esque team that, if the Avengers, as they already have done, kind of go off on their own and do whatever they want, they don't listen to me. Well, I need a response team that can kind of step up to them if we need to. So let's get the opposite number for all of them. So it would be good to have like a Venom and, you know, White Vision and that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And like kind of bulk it out. But then
that's what I don't want them to do. I don't want. We've got a Captain America, we've got a Black Widow, we've got a Hulk, we've got a Hawkeye, we've got a this, we've got a that. Just give me a few, like say, give Punisher, Deadpool, yeah,
Ghost Rider,
Ghost Rider, like anything like that would be far
Get
better.
Nicolas Cage back in as Ghost Rider. That's what I want.
Well, I've seen, who are the two people I saw up for the run-in for Ghost Rider? You had Norman Reedus from Walking Dead and somebody else, and I can't remember for the life of me who it was. I was like, meh to both, if I'm honest. But
Norman Reedus would be okay. I don't know who would make, because I mean,
who's going to be better than Nicolas Cage?
Like, yeah, you need someone who's potentially a maniac as well. Maybe, what's his name, Bill Skarsgård?
Yeah, I can
just
see
somebody
that.
could just play a creepy fella. Or, but then, you know, if it depends on whether it's Johnny Blades or
it's got to be. I don't want Carl.
No, because they had, but he was in Agents of Shield though.
That's what I mean. He's not.
But
really
the fella who played him was pretty decent at it, so maybe they just go, well, we've already got someone that people potentially would know as him, so let's get him in there as well.
Let's give him a motorbike instead of a car.
Well, then you do Johnny Blaze. What's the point in?
That's what I'm saying. Just have him. So, well, he's been Ghost Rider, but just make him this version.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that there's like, because again, now that we know that Blade is coming through as well, and,
slap Blade in there.
You know, no, I don't think. I think Blade's. He's sort of like, I'm way too much of a lone wolf to be part of this weird old team.
Morbius in there.
No, because Blade would be after him. You made a terrible film. Let's kill you all. But I reckon that, like, because obviously Blade is still getting a film that's, again, it's now on this slate, so we know where it's going to come out. So if we're getting Blade, and then we can get Ghost Rider, and we can get all of them into sort of like some sort of weird. So it's not just like, because we've had like the cosmic side of things, and we're getting the multi-dimensional side of things, and the magic and whatever.
Yeah.
Well, the supernatural. Is that something that's like, because like kind of feels like a WandaVision-y kind of thing, but that's that brings up an interesting thing though. So in the Agatha Harkness TV show, again, I cannot remember the name of the actress who plays. Yeah, I can't remember her, but I love that actress. Yeah. I think she's absolutely crushed it in pretty much anything I've ever seen her in. But what is she gonna do now that we all know that Wanda's dead?
Well, we don't know when this is set. This could be set before the events of WandaVision.
Oh, so like a build-up, a prelude to like how she's going to sort this, maybe. But that just seems a bit.
She's just living in suburbia.
Well, that's what I mean. But she could just be, you know, is she again going to get recruited in that kind of like WandaVision sense of like,
maybe
you know,
she's the Wanda.
The government turn up and just be like, well, we've got a real problem with magic because we don't know what to do and we can't control it, and can't control all these like group of sorcerers or whatever. You're a free agent. How about you do some government anti-magic work or something?
You got oh god, thingy from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
What, Quantumania?
Ghost. No. I'm just thinking of people we can add into the Thunderbolts.
Ghost. That'd be a bit pointless. Like, because she's apparently cured now as well, so.
Yeah, true.
Like, Hope Van Dyne came back through the quantum thing and stopped her powers, didn't she? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen that. I can't remember if she could continue to use
I think I've only
the
seen
ghost
it
powers
once.
afterwards.
I've seen Ant-Man
I've seen
multiple times, but
I've seen it
I think
a
I've only
few
watched
times,
Ant-Man and the Wasp once.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've got. I mean, I've got the list right here for what was announced for that particular slate. We got other ones to talk about after, but we got Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania,
solid.
Echo.
Yeah. Although nothing for that. Echo, which is the Daredevil kind of thing, isn't it?
Deaf girl from Hawkeye.
There's a deaf girl in Hawkeye?
Yeah, the one that goes after Kingpin. She was like the main antagonist throughout the whole series.
I don't remember.
Oh my god.
I genuinely don't.
She's like the main antagonist for Hawkeye and Kate.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
So,
but either way, cool. That's fine. Yep. A completely unmemorable person, sure.
She was really good. She was real good, isn't it?
I'm sure she was, mate. It's just my brain.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Ironheart.
That's fine. So is that going to be... No, is that going to be Monica, though?
I honestly don't know, and looking at the logo, I've got a feeling it's going to be an animation.
Well, that's fine.
It might not be.
No issues
I'm
with
purely
that.
basing this purely on the heart logo. It just looks very animated-y. Like all the other ones are like After Effects 3D logos, and then this one's like kind of like handmade.
Yeah, I don't think that's indicative of anything.
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that's what it looks like, and we've got no information on it.
No, we haven't, because if it's not Monica, because if she was supposed to be fucking what's her face from Photon,
Yes.
From WandaVision, because she was sort of like powered or whatever. Then what? Like Tony Stark's daughter? Something like that, maybe?
Makes the most sense, personally, but
how much time has passed since the end of Endgame to wherever we're supposed to be up to now, or wherever that's supposed to be set? Like, she's supposed to have aged 10 years?
maybe she's only got to be a teen, hasn't she?
Yeah, but she was like 6 or something in that film.
Yeah, so it only needs to be 6 years, and then she'll be nearly 13.
And then she's flying around killing people in an Iron Man suit.
She's already got all the
Don't know
stuff
about
there.
that.
I'm pretty sure there's suits and that knocking about. And she can go, Jarvis,
I don't know, I mean...
make me a suit.
Oh, that's true. Like, because if Spider-Man can do it without any knowledge, she's just like, yo, can you build me a spider suit? And he's like, yeah, sure. Why not? I'll knock one together,
Maybe
yeah.
Tony had already made her one just for emergencies.
Maybe that's true. Or maybe you could get Robert Downey Jr. in it as like a GRL kind of like hologram crystal kind of deal.
I mean, that's what happened in the comics, isn't it? He comes back as a so he's got Monday, Tuesday, etc. And he does himself as a AI hologram thing.
Yeah.
So
I think that would be fine, but as long as it wasn't a helpful hologram, it would just be someone that would just
constantly
shout
drunk.
insults and stuff. Yeah, it'd just be drunk a bit. Yeah, sure. But like, I suppose it would tie into Armored Wars, I guess, because then you've got the robot side of things, and then we've got the Marvels, which I don't think were they on that slate.
No.
Which is interesting, considering we've just had Ms. Marvel, and Captain Marvel 2 is in that slate, isn't it?
No.
Really?
So the official ones release, we've got...
Yeah, go through them. What we got?
This isn't in any order. This is literally in the order that I could get the logos to fit on the page in Photoshop.
Sure.
So, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Echo,
Thumbs up.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Ironheart, Blade.
Yep, double thumbs up for Blade, yep.
Loki Season 2, Captain America New World Order.
Now, is that Sam as Captain
It'll be
America
Sam,
New
won't
World
it?
Order?
It'll be Sam.
Okay, well then, one thumbs up for that, maybe. Sure.
Thunderbolts.
We don't know.
yet.
Let's see the lineup before I judge on that too much.
But
the fact they're doing it though, potentially that could be like the more adult, not dirty,
It's
sort
just
of like
full on sex.
it's welcome to the orgy. It would be like just a bit more violent. And
it'd be a bit more visceral combat and that.
Maybe, yeah.
Think the shield scene in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, like when he's just sort of
When
just
he decapitates
cut some
that
dude
guy.
heads off or whatever. Yeah.
Daredevil Born Again, Agatha Coven of Chaos, and then the day before all this, we had the trailer for I Am Groot, the animated shorts on Disney Plus, and then after this slate of things I've just said, we've got the Multiverse Saga, Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and Avengers: Secret Wars.
Secret Wars. Now that is going to be, because at this point we don't still really know what the Avengers as a team looks like. We don't really know who's on it, what their positions are going to be. So seeing how all that's going to... I mean, obviously Fury's going to have to come back from space, probably with Captain Marvel and a bunch of Skrulls and stuff. But then, like, is there like an evil Skrull faction? It turns out that there was a whole bunch of different Skrulls that were all just chilling on Earth at some point.
Maybe
so. But that one's interesting. So that's like the two big Avengers.
Well, is this how we're bringing
everything
Venom
coming
in?
Together?
Are we bringing Venom into Secret Wars?
So what's the? Yeah, maybe.
Because that's how Peter Parker gets it in Secret
Wars.
They've
left that open ended, haven't they? They've just sort of said, yeah, maybe there's like a blob of symbiote in this MCU. Sure, why not? Even though that could just get like mopped up and then put in a bin, and then that's it. It's over and done with.
I've got a feeling these are post credit scenes that Sony filmed without Marvel knowing, and then it was only when they showed the movie and Kevin Feige's like, what the fuck? It's like, we didn't put this in.
No, but I think that's fine, because it'd be like, sure, we can do something with it if we want to. We could just.
That was my first question because I still haven't watched Thor yet. But obviously the thingy's sword in that's from Krull, from Null, the god of the symbiotes, and his entire sword is made of a symbiote. And I'm assuming that's not what happens in Thor.
No.
So no, because I was thinking that was a nice easy way to like put it in.
I don't think they're going for easy at this point. They are trying to. I think they're thinking very long term. Like, oh god, because otherwise they would have just gone right. We've just sealed this deal with Fox. Let's get X-Men in there as soon as possible. Oh, by the way, everyone's a mutant. Adamantium. That was the thing. I forgot what it was called. Not vibranium and something else. Yeah. It's vibranium and adamantium. So they're just playing it cool at this point. It's just very slow teases. So like, look how long it's taken for us to get Professor X and Mr. Fantastic.
And then they were both killed off.
Just
spoilers.
As a cameo, and then kill them off immediately, because it's just a fun thing to be like, hey, this does exist and we can do whatever the hell we want to in this like weird multiverse, whatever. But as I previously mentioned forever ago, when we first saw, it was probably at like one of these events, not last year or the year before, maybe before that, there was a 4 that came towards the screen, and you were like, no, it doesn't mean Fantastic Four, it's Phase 4, it's like the Avengers, like it's the Avengers logo.
We wasn't
like
that dismissive,
and I was like,
was I?
Yeah, that's exact, because you were like, well, it's probably not Fantastic Four, and I was just like, I'm guaranteeing that's the Fantastic Four. Now it is.
But it wasn't at the time, was it? It was Phase 4.
No, it was the Fantastic Four logo.
When they did the thingy for it on the SDCC for that year, it was Phase 4, and then they obviously now we know that it was Fantastic Four, but it was still Phase 4.
No, because that was my whole point. It was that was the Fantastic Four logo that they're throwing in there.
No. Plus, they still didn't show it this year.
But that's exactly what it is on the slate. It's that same 4 logo. It's the same blue line. It's exactly the same one. I'm going to go back
and I'm going to find the picture and I'm going to put them in Photoshop together. I'm going to line them up and see if they line up perfectly. If they're even a fraction out, a fraction out. But
well, either way, we know that in 2024, I think.
No, it just says no, because it's not in Phase 5, and they haven't announced
it's after
it.
that. But I thought there was still 6. A year. Like a 24, 25.
No, there was 2.
It might be 25, actually.
There was Fantastic Four.
And then it was.
And another one, but it doesn't say when it is. It's still like TBC. Because the end of Phase 4 is one of them that I'm not sure of. Because the very last one is Black Panther. That's the last Phase 4 one. So it could be Ant-Man and then Black Panther is the end of
Black
Phase
Panther's
4.
Going to be the last one.
And then Phase 5 automatically kicks off with, I'm not sure which one's first, but you've got Guardians, Echo, Ironheart, Blade, Loki, Captain America, Thunderbolts.
Oh, Daredevil, I see. Right, okay. Agatha. So we're still in Phase 4 at this point.
Yeah.
Which has kind of been a meandering mess, really, not going anywhere.
It's hard because after Infinity War and Endgame,
how do you pick back up from that?
They've been fortunate that they've had some really good out of the park stuff. They've been very fortunate. No fault to the guys making it and the guys acting in it and this, and it's just we've had like all of these years building up to this massive pivotal moment, and they managed to pull it off. And then the biggest highlights for me personally have been the Disney Plus shows. Like the movies this year so far, well, this phase so far have been fine, but the shows on the other hand I think have been a lot better.
Apart from Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, yeah.
Shang-Chi,
I forgot about Shang-Chi.
I think that's probably... Do we know what we had in Phase 4 so far then? So like the Eternals, Black Widow, Shang-Chi...
Spider-Man Far From... No Way Home.
Multiverse of Madness. So I'd say that probably Spider-Man...
Thor.
And... Yeah, I'd say probably Spider-Man and Shang-Chi. Those are the two that I'm just sort of like, oh man, they were killer.
Which were the first two.
Nah, Black Widow came out before Shang-Chi. Because that was like one of the first ones that dropped on Disney Plus, wasn't it?
No, Black Widow was the first Phase 4 film. I tell a lie, yes. It was Black Widow, Spider-Man, Shang-Chi.
Right, okay,
and then whatever order the rest have come.
Yeah, I think that like overall, I think the shows have been significantly better than the movies so far. But I suppose that's how you do the groundwork. So you kind of build up these people, and then you can throw them into the So rather than going, we're not going to have another 5 years of just doing solo story, and then big blockbuster films, and then we'll bring them all together. We'll do your big event films, your big tent poles. Those would be your big blockbuster movies. Everything else, all you set up or whatever, that's your TV show stuff. So like Ms. Marvel now, you don't need to do any backstory on hers, like when she's in the Marvels or in an Avengers movie or whatever. Because you watch the show, you know who she is, you know the deal. Throw her in the movies, bang, you're done. So you can kind of like, you just got all this stuff bubbling on the sides, and you can just sort of flip them into the main burgers, like as and when you want to put them all together. You go, actually, that one wasn't really that well received, so maybe it's like a cameo, like the Inhumans. You go, oh, we don't want to touch on that, but sure, we'll give you a Black Bolt cameo out of nowhere that people went fucking bananas for. You just save them up. You've got them all on the back. You've literally got them all, except Spider-Man stuff. All of them on the back burner now. You can flip in any of them when you're ready.
That's what I was really hoping they wasn't doing with Charlie Cox, where he was going to be the new Stan Lee, and everything he was in was just a cameo. So he cameoed in Spider-Man. He's cameoing in She-Hulk, and then I saw this on when they announced the slate for Born Again. I was like, thank fuck he's got a show. Unless it turns out that it's not Charlie Cox.
Or it's an animated one. And he's like, oh no, I've just got to do voiceover work, for God's sake.
Well, he's in the Spider-Man freshman year animated series.
Oh yeah, that's the new
well, there's two, isn't there? You got
thing.
freshman year and sophomore, and Charlie Cox is voicing Matt Murdock in that as well. I'll be honest, I'm looking forward to Phase 5 and obviously Avengers for Phase 6, which is really weird because when you look at this, Phase 6 is the Multiverse Saga, Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret War, but there's no Avengers films leading up to that.
But that's what I mean. Like, if you're just going, we'll do all the sort of build-up stuff, but we won't take 10 years to do it, to build up to like an Endgame, Infinity War kind of thing. We need to get the new players on the field, and we need to get them on there quick sharp. So they've only got, a few more is there more TV shows than, we keep saying TV shows, they're not TV shows, but for the sake of it, are there more shows than there are movies?
1, 2, 3. Is Blade a movie or a show?
No, Blade's a movie, I'm pretty sure.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shows. 6 movies, 5 shows. So
okay.
6 shows including Groot.
Yeah, well, that's not going to add anything major to the fucking universe, though, is it? That'll be fine.
I don't know.
But things like Quantumania. There's no new Doctor Strange announced just yet, but I think when we're getting into Quantumania, like sort of like again dimension hopping and doing all kinds of weird time travel-y stuff. like that's where you're more sort of like meaty cameos and more crazy. Like I think that you like doing like What If and then Multiverse has kind of like opened up that. Oh my god, people just want fan service for days. That's what they want.
There is another season on What If as well. But that wasn't on this. Oh, and Marvel Zombies. We're getting a Marvel Zombies series.
Yeah, and I'm kind of not interested in either, if I'm honest.
I'm looking forward to it. I like What If purely because of I really like the art style of it. What I don't like is one of my favourite episodes was the Peggy Carter, Captain Carter episode. But it was pretty much beat for beat the first Avenger.
Well, that was the problem with some of them. Was just that it was just like, oh, it's just this person, but it's a different thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, I think like the Ant-Man murder spree, like going around and killing everyone, like that sort of stuff. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, and some like good episodes.
What if it was T'Challa instead of Peter Quill? Like that sort of stuff. That was quite interesting. But as a whole, it just didn't grab me. And again, because it hasn't amounted to anything either, so it's just sort of like, oh, well, what's the point?
It does have a lot riding on it. Like the What If comics were like, obviously writers wanted to do certain things with certain characters and Marvel said no, and this was a way around it, so you got to see these weird adventures. Or
what if Doctor Doom was actually a doctor?
Yeah, but
like a medical doctor saving lives.
Yeah, what if like this person did this thing, or what if this person died instead of this person, what would happen from that? And they were reasonably interesting, but when you're putting that into a TV show, that I do think there needs to be a bit more connection and depth to as the viewer with what's going on, and I don't think you got that because they are a couple of minute episodes. And
well, maybe it's more a case of like, because these are what ifs for people for the most part who have never read a comic book before.
Yeah, these are just MCU people,
vaguely familiar with what's going on in the MCU.
Yeah.
So a Marvel what if comic, say, would have far more. It would mean a lot more to someone who knows the backstory and the ins and outs and previous runs and stuff like that. Whereas this is just sort of like, oh, remember Iron Man 2? Remember that? Well, what if this?
Yeah.
And it's just that's fine. Again, it's fine. I've got nothing against it.
Fun.
But it's just, again, it hasn't, like when they did Multiverse of Madness, if one of the dimensions that they'd sort of like popped into for 5 minutes was like that weird massive zombie army thing, that'd have been like, what a great little thing to just throw them into, and they're just like, oh my god, what the fuck, zombies everywhere.
I really don't know why they didn't.
I don't know, like, because maybe that's if they sort of build into this like more multi-dimensional thing, that they are starting to do like these like really wacky comic book things where they just sort of like, let's just get as much in there and it's just chaos, and sure, let's get Nick Cage back as a Ghost Rider, let's just get him in, pay him $1 million, he'll do it for 20 minutes and then fuck him off again. Like, that's what they're building towards, I think, and I think that Multiverse is probably going to be
Luke Ferrigno Hulk.
For sure. Like, you're telling me, like, he's already doing voiceover work for the Hulk. You're telling me that he won't just come back, not as just like he's a big guy in the background sort of thing. You have, like look at all the Loki cameos that were in the Loki show. You're telling me that you couldn't get him back just dressed in green, and Mark Ruffalo going, like, we're not on the same level, mate.
You've got this just...
What are you going to do against me? And he just, like, puts him through a wall or whatever.
Yeah, he just picks him up.
Yeah, because then you could have Chris Hemsworth come over and go, we're about the same size. Like,
in this universe.
Yeah, for sure. But I think there's a lot that's, like, this dimensional stuff. I think that's where, like, your proper insane, weird crossover shit you start going to come through.
Because looking at your slate, you've got Ant-Man and that's it. Looking at the slate, there's no other... I mean, obviously Loki as well, but how much of season 2 Loki is going to focus on that? Or is it going to just delve into Kang?
No, I think that is... like, because you can't just go Kang Dynasty out of absolutely nowhere. Well, you've had like a bit of him mentioned at the end of Loki. That's what that whole build-up is going to be for him. Yeah. In the same way that WandaVision season 1 was the build-up for Wanda in Multiverse. So I think that there's like, and especially like Blade as well. I think that if Blade, because again, does this mean that vampires have always been in the MCU?
This is the thing. Or are vampires?
Exactly, but is that just like another dimensional thing? Again, with the X-Men, is that just a dimensional barrier that you can just snap your fingers and now it doesn't matter anymore?
I saw a recurring rumour on... What day is it? Monday. I saw a recurring rumour on Sunday that the X-Men movie will be called The Mutants, not the X-Men, because there's women in the X-Men as much as men in the X-Men.
Interesting.
Now, I don't like it purely for the fact that obviously I love the X-Men, probably more than I love the Avengers, but I've never looked at X-Men and gone, oh, it's a team full of men. I've looked at it as the same as like human. Like, I just see it the same as that. It's just they've got the X gene. So I don't like the idea of that, because if they change it because of that, are they going to change the team's name?
No, they won't do that.
Because originally that's what Stanley called the X-Men. They was called the Mutants. That was the name of the original comic. But I don't know. But apparently that's what it's called in the slate. But I think it sounds too similar to the New Mutants,
which they don't want to have.
Yeah, you want to stay clear of that as much as possible. So I don't know, but I am a bit disappointed we haven't seen anything X-Men related yet. And I don't mean...
We literally had Patrick Stewart as Professor X in Multiverse. What else do you want?
This.
Oh, well, isn't the 97 show? Isn't that still due to come out in a couple of years? Well, but we don't know yet. That could be an animated in for this whole thing. We don't know as to what elements of this are going to transfer over.
I'm looking forward to it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, again, if they just want to keep it and it's just the 90s show and then it's its own separate thing, I'm fine with that. But if they want to build it up as like, this is the introduction to how they're going to be explained away or whatever. Maybe, like, because what if they go, well, what if the Illuminati that we saw in Strange, what if that's not all humans or mutants or whatever from that universe that Strange ends up in? So what if they are from other dimensions? Because Reed built like an interdimensional traveling device.
In X-Men the Animated Series, Magneto's Scarlet Witch's dad and Quicksilver's dad.
Yeah. So
if that exists within this universe, they're going to have to tie that in, because obviously in the MCU, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, they were experimented on and given the powers. But then it's very vaguely hinted at in WandaVision that she always had powers. And it was just like the nuclear stuff is what
that could just be. It could just be a retcon. So it could just be like, oh, the reason that they were experimented on was because they were mutants. So this sort of like heightened their abilities, maybe. Not that it made any difference, because one dropped a building on herself and the other one got shot to death. So not great advertisement, but I suppose it's like oh, mutants aren't these like incredible, unstoppable. I
suppose
you can just shoot them and they will go down.
It was a similar thing to the boys with Payback, where they were thrown into a situation that they've got these powers, but they don't know how to use it to fight wars and stuff. And then having Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch thrown into this fight against Ultron, and they proved that they didn't know how to use the powers in that way, and in Winter Soldier as well with the bomb.
But that's the thing though, because you could just have, if they are from another dimension, you could have Magneto and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver both come back. But they're a different Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver,
it's
because
not the MCU ones.
As far as we're concerned, for the MCU, they're all dead. So it makes no difference. So you could bring in 12 of them. Go for it.
Well, it won't be him, will it? It might be Quicksilver from Fox.
Well, I did see something that
he's playing Craven,
Magneto was supposed to be in Multiverse. Like Michael Fassbender was. I can't remember if they said that they'd shot footage or that there was supposed to be footage, but it was like all this stuff that was supposed to have been always at least talked about or concepted for what was happening in Multiverse. But Ghost Rider was supposed to be one of them that was supposed to show up in it. Michael Fassbender as Magneto. So again, that means you've got the sort of like the weird X-Men. So you've got like, what's his face? Ralph Boner. So you've got that Quicksilver coming through. You've got Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Then you've got Michael Fassbender coming through as Magneto. That to me just seems like they're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Which ones are going to have more of an impact? And I'll be honest, I'd much rather see. Oh my god, I forgot his fucking name. Ian McKellen come through.
Oh my god, that'd be incredible.
Yeah. But then when you've already got Mr. Professor Xavier there, like, I think just having him, or just having Hugh Jackman, or just having Ian McKellen, I think just having the one is a much bigger look at this, rather than look at these bunch of people.
Yeah, remember this? Here's James Masters with his visor on again.
Here's Toad from X-Men 1.
Well, that was fucking Ray Park, wasn't it?
Here's Darth Maul.
In the worst makeup ever.
You know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning?
Shut up. But then you could get Halle Berry to come back as Storm and Sue Storm.
Storm and Storm.
No, Sue Storm. The Invisible Woman.
And was Halle Berry the Invisible Woman?
Oh no, that was Jessica Alba, wasn't it?
You're right.
Okay, well, get Jessica Alba to come back as Halle Berry and then play
John Krasinski.
Sue Storm. Yeah. I reckon you do that. Just get Krasinski in for Mr. Fantastic. You get Emily Blunt in for The Thing. You get Chris Evans for
Human Torch.
Johnny Storm again. And then you get Jessica Alba as Halle Berry as
Sue Storm.
What a team that would be.
Itself. What did you think of the Black Panther 2 teaser trailer that's surprisingly very long for a teaser trailer, but it doesn't really show you a lot?
I do not know how they're going to handle the death of... Do you reckon there's going to be some deep faking stuff? Like he's going to sacrifice himself heroically or something?
They'd already started filming, hadn't they? He's already filmed some scenes.
No, they'd already started recording his voiceover stuff for What If. I think that was the last thing officially he did.
So he's not in this at all?
I don't think so.
I remember the stuff for What If being the last ones they recorded, but I was very certain that they'd started filming some scenes in this.
But that would have been like 3 or 4 years ago.
I could be wrong on that.
I mean, potentially. I mean, maybe if it's sort of like written into everyone's contract, it's like, just in case we need to record you doing some lines of, this is how we're just going to kill you off randomly or something like that.
I don't know.
It just seems... Because, like, if you go, he dies in an explosion saving everyone. So, because, I mean, you could just have the suit and then someone in it and then it... whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily need to see his face to...
No, but again, you could just sort of, like, de-nano the suit and just have, like, a deep fake on there. But then, would the family be okay with that? Or would they go... I think that's disrespectful, or would they say no? We need like a wonderful death for him to go out in.
I think the family and the fans would be happy, even if it's just as long as it's done tastefully. Now, I don't mean this in the wrong way, so if I explain it wrong, jump in and help me, Dan. But It doesn't need to be like big explosions and big fanfares and everything. It just needs to be makes sense for this. It's nice memory for Chadwick. And then some point later on in the film, this is your new Black Panther.
Yeah, maybe. I could.
No. I was just going to say, I don't think anyone is going to kick off and go, "Oh, that clearly wasn't Chadwick Boseman. That was awful deep faking."
Maybe.
Like, this is the one time you can get away with it.
Well, you say that, like Carrie Fisher, they had to do that in Star Wars, didn't they?
No, because they didn't have to. Because if they just let her die when she was floating in
this
space...
is what I was just going to say. They could have just blown her up,
yeah.
And just gone, well, that's kind of a coward's way out, but...
It works.
But then they went, no, let's zip her back in using the Force or whatever.
To kill her off anyway.
But then, I think this is going to be probably an emotional film. So it's not going to be, huge heroics and explosions and whatever. Maybe it's going to be, like you say, it's going to be... Okoye and Shuri and whatever his ex was, I can't remember. Like, she goes off and was like a Wakandan spy, kind of like taking out rebels or whatever. Like, maybe it's sort of like, all three of them like try out for the Black Panther. But the problem is, though, is that they established in the first film that there were no more purple flowers to give someone the powers of the Black Panther because Killmonger fucking burnt them all.
What if that?
So
what if that's your Ironheart? What if Shuri becomes Ironheart? And does it?
I mean, potentially, if she
Man
goes
Panther suit.
But if she goes, I'm still more techie rather than, I'm not a good combatant, like hand-to-hand combatant. So again, Okoye would be a good shout for that because she was going up against like Children of Thanos and more than holding her own against them. So like that would be a good call. So I like the fact that there's like potentially like 3 females, all from like the previous films and ensemble pictures and stuff like that. All of them could potentially be like a new Black Panther. In the same way that like when Kat was going to step down, they were like, okay, well we've got a few options for who can kind of step in and be that next one. Or maybe they just go, Shuri, you're next in line. It's yours. And she's sort of like, I don't really want to do that.
Well, looking at the shot at the end of the trailer, when it's just like kind of like the back of the leg and the arm and it doesn't look as stocky as Chadwick was, which makes me think it is either someone younger or female. Shuri makes the most sense for me personally, but they might just turn around and just go, that guy.
I hope not. I mean, they could go M'Baku, I guess, like the fellows, like the big.
It's definitely not M'Baku.
That'd be incredible if they just went, do you want to just be the Black Panther for a bit? And he's just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That'd be a Black Rhino, wouldn't it? He wouldn't be a panther. He's not like lithe and cool. He's just but the Black Gorilla, I guess. You just go around just smashing people up. That'd be amazing. Or maybe they just go, hey, Morgan Freeman, do you want to be the new Black Panther,
John
white
Krasinski
guy? Get Krasinski in it, sure. Get him in everything.
Everyone could be in it.
No. I think it's going to be.
Well, if it's Martin Freeman,
the most difficult one for them to make because like they haven't. That's what I said. Oh no, I said Morgan.
You said Morgan Freeman, which is why I did.
I meant.
I think I know.
You didn't correct me though, did you?
That's why
I did mean Martin Freeman though. I just said Morgan Freeman. Hey, get that white guy into. Morgan Freeman definitely ain't white.
I didn't hear that bit.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe that's it. Like, it could. It's like I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. It could be any of them.
Could be.
Like, it's just going to be a big vote or something like that in Wakanda. Who knows?
We're never gonna know who it is until it comes out, Dan. Or it gets spoiled. One or the other.
But this is the problem, though, because I don't think they've had a situation because they've written out characters because they've died or they've been killed.
Yeah.
But they've not had to change a character because the actor has died.
I mean,
not yet. Anyway,
I mean, you've had people like it's probably the best example being Carrie Fisher, but she's not the titular character of the. It's not Princess Leia the movie. It's Star Wars, and she's a big character in it. But you could make a Star Wars movie without Princess Leia in it. It's pretty hard to do a Black Panther movie without Black Panther.
That's the problem. Yeah, exactly.
Which does make me think, like, if you look at the logo for the film, it's Black Panther, Wakanda forever. So I don't know whether
maybe it's
subliminal.
Maybe they go like, let's have 12 Black Panthers. So like we can't give anyone like the strength and speed because the purple flowers are all gone. So how about it's all tech stuff?
There has to be
maybe.
More. There has to be.
Or you just go, yo, Doctor Strange, can you open up a portal to another dimension that's got these purple flowers in and just grab us a couple, please, so we can replant our garden and carry on this cool tradition? Like, because potentially, any problem he can solve.
Theoretically, yeah. Or Ant-Man.
Because he's
Quantumania. Maybe maybe that's where them flowers blossom the most.
In tiny quantum realms.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
That one flower that they lost behind the back of the sofa. Get Ant-Man, shrink down, go down in there.
Maybe you could do that whole thing, like it just sort of pans down, and then it's just like one seed that's just left over, or whatever.
There'll be another
or
one.
Like there was just a cryogenic freezer that's just got like a couple of seeds. There's an infinite number of ways around it, but they made such a point of burning it. Like, so there's just Killmonger and there's just Black Panther now, and then they just sort of like, shit, we kind of wrote ourselves into a bit of a corner here. Oh well, it's a comic book film. And luckily, we've been pissing about with time travel and alternate dimensions.
What if they do it through blood and DNA and stuff, and they go, we can actually extract the stuff that's in the blood, We could.
I mean, sure, he could do that in about 25 minutes.
That's what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah. So like now, instead of this flower, you can just drink this thing, and now you've got it.
It's like an inhaler.
Yeah.
So you get like Black Panther powers for like 24 hours or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. There's ways around it. I think it's going to be. I think it's more emotional. It's going to be more family based.
Yeah, definitely. Like Fast and Furious.
Guns and lasers and whatever. Yeah. And then you got John Krasinski playing Vin Diesel, playing the car.
Playing the car.
Yeah. But anyway, Callum, Marvel was not the only comic book franchising that was talked about at San Diego Comic Con, was it?
It was that I watched.
So there were a couple of DC bits
that we
talked about. It was mainly like comic stuff.
Black Adam
But yeah, we got a Black Adam trailer, we got a Shazam 2 trailer. I think there was another Harley Quinn trailer, for the animated show, which I don't think
there was a trailer for season 3. I think it was something they talked about and they showed you at
the
attendees at Comic-Con, but same as the X-Men, Spider-Man and some of the other Marvel stuff that we haven't seen, but the attendees got to see
eventually. Like, give it a couple of weeks, there will be a supercut.
Black Adam looks pretty good. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, The Rock is kind of the most sort of like physically incredibly
he's the closest thing we've got to a real comic book character.
A real, what they actually look like, and he looks great in the suit. The only concern that I've got is that they're going to make him a good guy rather than keep him as sort of like an ambiguous bad guy.
I don't know. I think he's from what I've read and seen, The Rock's been very looking forward to playing he's not a good guy, he's not a bad guy, and obviously most of the time he gets to play just a good guy. And I think, judging from the trailer, I think they are going to keep it very black and white. Like, he's not a bad person, but he's prepared to do bad things to get.
But his whole deal, though, was that he would, like you say, he's just doing bad things, but it's to protect Kahndaq, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he does bad so he's a good person that's prepared to do unspeakable things in order to protect the ones that he wants to protect and to get his end goal. Whereas, obviously, your superheroes of the world are, well, I know I need to do this, but in order to do that, I need to sacrifice 10,000 people.
But that was the whole thing for the Suicide Squad. Yeah. It was just like, they're bad people, but you put them in the right situation and they can do good or whatever. And that didn't
I don't know. In both films, they don't. None of them do anything particularly good.
Nor bad, though, really. Like, they haven't done anything more awful or terrible than any of the Avengers.
No,
they've killed probably less people.
A lot.
True, but Captain America was
supposed to they're already putting in line. And it's just like language.
Yeah, because you know that this man will beat you to death with his shield. That's why. I don't know. I think that like Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, I think looks amazing. I can't for me, the fact that they've got Dr. Fate in it and it's him.
Costume looks
that
really
in itself
good as well.
Is kind of for sure.
How ridiculous the
and I know that it's not really hard to do like blue suit, gold helmet, but they've pretty much nailed it down.
Yeah, they haven't really changed it, and I like that because it's a ridiculous. Same as Black Manta from Aquaman. It's the most ridiculous suit in the world.
They
managed to make it work. And it's the same with this. It's a very simple but stupid looking costume, but they've managed to make it look pretty cool. And
and same as Hawkman as well.
Yeah,
like he's in a gold suit with a big hammer and a big pair of wings. And again, he doesn't look ridiculous doing it.
Doesn't look out of place.
No, but then there's also there was Namor in the Black Panther trailer as well.
Or Kotal Khan, as you referred to him as.
Yeah, I said the other day, like as soon as I saw it, I was just like, is this like a Mortal Kombat crossover? Because that is Kotal Khan from Mortal Kombat 10.
I didn't really see it other than the neck piece when I watched the trailer. And then when we were talking about Black Panther and I had it playing on the separate news screen, and then it was the bit when he was like going down into the water.
Coming down.
And I was like, actually, that does look quite a lot like Kotal Khan.
It's so Kotal Khan. I mean, it's a great look, but Namor, he's got his little Speedos and that's about it. He's got his hair slicked back, he's got his little Speedos and his little wings. Do you think he'll still have
little wings on his feet?
That's what I was going to say. That's like his sort of like his biggest thing. Maybe they just wanted to be like, he's basically Aquaman, so we don't want him to look anything like Aquaman whatsoever. We'll make him this sort of like weird Avatar Kotal Khan crossover.
Yeah, but, like, I'd argue and say, like, Namor from the comics looks more like Aquaman than Jason Momoa does.
That's very true.
So if they just made him look like that,
then would he not just be the laughing stock of just sort of like, meh? Because it would be just like, what's his face from Rick and Morty?
Oh, like, God, yeah.
Mr. Water or whatever. Like
the one who everyone wants to have sex with.
Yeah. But like, I think I think that looks fine. But yeah, who else was in the? Because there was someone else in the Black Adam trailer. I'm sure there was. There was Hawkman. There was.
I don't remember seeing
Dr.
anyone else.
Fate. The Atom.
I don't remember catching Atom in it.
He was enormous. Like literally, he's giant Atom Man.
I genuinely.
He was in the first trailer as well.
I remember in the first one. I don't remember in this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a passing shot, but it's like something exploding behind him. I think, and he's like, "Oh, jeez." But then, who the fuck's playing Atom?
John Krasinski.
Of course it is, yeah. Of course it is. Anyone that we don't know the answer to is always John Krasinski. But I think that looks fine. I think Shazam is not going to be as good as the first one. I'm getting the vibe that I'm not going to enjoy it as much. I don't think.
I think Shazam will be fine, but I think it's going to be your. It's going to be a palate cleanser for your next movie. So,
they just like. Do you know what I mean? Like in the sense that they both look similar, like how they've been shot, like Black Adam and Shazam.
Yeah,
and I know again that they're
same
big
universe.
No, but I mean, like the cinematography for the films looks basically the same. It looks like they could be literally happening across the road from each other.
It could be.
Like it's the same sort of like.
Shazam and Black Adam go back a good bit, so
they absolutely do. And again, it kind of makes sense if it ties in, but it just doesn't seem like that there's enough difference. Like, because again, it just seems like Superman. It seems like Wonder Woman. They all seem just sort of a bit bleak and dusty and awful.
I think it's going to focus too much on comedy.
What, Shazam? Because they were like, "Oh, this is our comedy film." Yeah, because the first one was funny. Like it was well acted.
It had some really funny bits in it, but then like the bit that always stands out to me that put me off the most was when they come out of the gas station in America, and he's flossing outside, and it's just like
don't do whatever's a cool thing now. Don't do it because it ages your movie immediately. You do a cool little dance. No one's going to know about that in 5 years' time. What the fuck's he doing?
It brings it down, and I know, like on a technical level, that's the kind of thing he's into. Fortnite, and he's into this, and he's into whatever else. So it makes. I mean, sense.
I get it in like the MCU, the Fortnite crossover, because it's like, okay, well, that's not just this is a cool game. It's like, okay, well, this is a product placement as well because
we got stuff.
They're presumably.
I don't think Shazam's ever been in Fortnite.
No, I just mean that's why the MCU, like, it's been in several films.
Yes, yeah.
It's not just because, like, this is a cool game, otherwise it'd just be Minecraft or whatever. It's because, no, this is, like, paid promotion for them. And, like, there's crossover stuff in the game as well, so it's kind of a mutual thing.
But it still works in it, though, because, like, Korg's playing it, isn't he? And,
but it's also, it's not, like, a big... It's not a big thing.
It's just a funny thing. It's just them that could be any online game that they're playing. But in... It, like I say, it's just the aging that the action does. So somebody doing a floss.
Because like, I bet if you went on TikTok and did that now, people would be like, "Oh God, what are you doing?" Like that was from a year ago. It's like if they put a joke in it, it's like, "Oh, he's going to eat like washing machine tablets," because that was a thing a couple of years. Like again, in 5 years' time, or like like when people watch old movies or whatever, like from 40 years ago, or whatever, there'll still be people that will watch this 30 years from now and go, why the fuck is he eating a dishwasher tablet? Like, what is that about? And you'd have to Google it and find a Reddit page and like, it's because this mental craze where a bunch of kids poison themselves. That'll still be around, annoyingly. I reckon that'll still be around.
Annoyingly, I love Reddit.
Nah, fuck Reddit.
Why?
Because I hate it and everyone on it. Especially you.
It's not a social thing, it's just the internet.
But I hate the internet as well.
This podcast
there's only one good part of the
stalk.
There's only one good part about the internet. Do you know what that is?
Me.
No, I just said I don't like you. Especially I don't like you.
What is it, Dan?
It's John Krasinski in just like fan art and stuff like that then comes to life.
What if it was John Krasinski playing Zachary Levi playing Shazam doing a floss?
Ooh, that's deep.
And
that's like an
and it
an
shows you
Inception
my
level,
age, as I refer to it as doing a floss on one of them Nintendos.
I tell you what, I did see the other day. The Krasinski Fantastic Four costume and the Anson Mount Black Bolt costume, completely CG, both of them.
Really? I mean, to be fair,
I had no idea.
The John Krasinski one makes sense because.
But it's just like they went, hey, this picture, let's just put that on him. But like, this is the thing I don't get. Like the same with like the Endgame, like all the time travel suits, all of that CG.
Yeah.
That is how good it's getting that you can't even tell when you're watching it movie.
Compared to Green Lantern.
Mental. It's just. Maybe this is it. Like when they do like an uncanny valley thing for like faces and stuff, and it's so obvious. Clothes are just like clothes, metal. Inanimate objects.
Batman's cape was CG in
also
BVS and stuff like that. I'd say the cloth simulations got pretty darn good over the years.
But just like a fixed clothes, you could just remap the go. Actually, I don't like that outfit. Pop a new one.
Stick another one on. I mean,
it's a
you do
sim.
have to bear in mind, like especially like Krasinski, more particularly with Black Bolt, they don't do anything. They stand up.
They
and
could just sit there,
and that's it.
Yeah.
So. It's not as I mean, it's still very impressive, but it's not like an entire movie that they've done.
I suppose it's also it prevents leaks and stuff like that as well. Because if you go, oh, John Krasinski spotted on site dressed as Mr. Fantastic, someone would snap a picture of that, or like the costume designer would let it slip, or like, do you know what I mean? There'd be something.
But
John
if you just got down there, what was he doing? He was just having a coffee, just in his civvy clothes.
Yeah, he was just at a film studio lot. Well, he could be doing anything then, couldn't he? Like, you're not going to connect the two necessarily.
I dressed them up as like opposite things. So I just see John Krasinski dressed as Batman. Like I just seen him dressed as Green Lantern. I've just seen him dressed as Wolverine.
Wait, I just saw him as Doctor Doom. Like what?
Just throw it off completely. That'd be brilliant.
That's if I was like a production manager or something. That's what I'd have to do.
There's an episode.
Like, look, you're coming in for one day.
This do your actual thing, but every time you leave, you're going to have something different. Like, there's an episode of Hit Monkey where they're after. It's so good. I loved it, but he's after like this one of the bosses, and they hunt him down. But it turns out that the guy's hired all of these lookalike people, and he's all around the city. I can see them doing stuff like that, like John Krasinski lookalikes. But
like in Scott Pilgrim when Chris Evans has got like his stunt team. Yeah. And just like from the back and just they just all look slightly similar,
That'll be well. That's an excellent film. I wish we had more of.
Well, Scott Pilgrim. Mate, you're never going to recapture that lightning in a bottle.
No, never. They've ruined it. They put all the books into one film and they should have done it volume. I mean, I'm glad they didn't. I'm sure we spoke about this before, but I'm glad they didn't because it made dick all money, even though it was fantastic. But if they'd have gone, here's volume 1, and then it performed as poorly as it did, we wouldn't have got any more. So
exactly,
at least they managed to wrap it up
convincingly. So
yes.
Like that's the sort of thing that if you hadn't made that as a film, then that would be a Netflix show by now for sure.
Which I kind of wish it was. Well, all the same people. Obviously, you're not going to get Chris Evans, but
but there was like Michael Cera, there was Chris Evans, Brie Larson,
your girlfriend.
Oh. Love it. And then also like from Arrested Development, Anne from Arrested Development is like the bisexual goth partner, and I was just like, because I was watching Arrested Development the other day, every day because I'm watching it at lunch at the moment. But like
no,
it's like it's the Russos.
It's,
Batman. Sorry.
Not Arrested Development. The other one.
What?
What's the other one? Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, yeah.
Is she in Parks and? Is she in Arrested Development as well?
Who?
Oh God, I forgot her name. The one you're on about from Scott Pilgrim. She's in Parks and Rec. It's I can't think of names. Why can't I think of names? Chris Pratt's girlfriend.
She's not in Parks and. No, that's Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, and that's who it is.
No, it's not.
It is. It's Scott Pilgrim.
Oh no, that's the girl who's working like 2 jobs or whatever.
That's who we're on about, isn't it?
You know,
What do you mean, a boob?
Yeah, her. That's Anne from Arrested Development.
I can't picture a face in that.
Oh, well, ironically, that's exactly the joke that they run through in Arrested Development. That they keep calling her egg and ham and stuff like that.
Yeah, I recognise her now. Mae Whitman.
Yeah, but like, yeah. So like, it's like her and Michael Cera. Like, so they just sort of like, presumably they've just come across from that because they were both in it. But yeah, it's great little.
I love it.
Great little.
No, I love Scott Pilgrim. I love the books. It's one of the ones where I can honestly say, like, the books are infinitely better, but I love the film. It's
one of my absolute favourites.
Own thing, even though it's obviously ripping page to page from a book.
Jason Schwartzman, like some absolute cracking names in there as well.
Just the way it's filmed, everything's filmed like really funny. Like, have you seen the behind the scenes where they're doing the tracking shots? So you know the bit when Knives comes to the door and his roommate opens the door and he's like, "Oh, Scott's just left by now." And then when he moves the camera and he jumps out of the window.
Oh, bloody Kieran Culkin.
That's all done with like cardboard boxes, and they've cut a hole out for the window and they actually do it.
Oh, so you can like dive through it, yeah.
But it's like all panned out like really well. It's very, very, very well done. Like the whole thing is.
I love that film. I
watched it
it's so good.
I don't know, about 6-7 months ago, maybe. For like,
it's on Amazon Prime
the bazillionth time. And I've got it on DVD and Blu-ray, and then I couldn't find either of them, so I bought it on Amazon Prime.
Anything for Edgar Wright.
Yeah,
do it.
It is genuinely one of my favourite films. It's very good. I even bought the soundtrack on iTunes when it came out.
I don't know if I got the soundtrack, but I was meaning to get the game, like, because you know there's like a Scott Pilgrim game, but I've got the soundtrack to the game on my Spotify account, which is great.
Jeff Beck did the Ramona.
Yeah. I've got that whole thing on my Spotify as well. Every now and then I'll just get like, you know, like what was it came on today? It was when he's on the bus where he's just broken up with Knives and he's just about to start going out with Ramona, and it's just that sort of like, it's just changing from him sort of being like really upset to be like, oh wait, hold on, we had to go out with this other girl instead. It's like that music, like that was just on my Spotify on the walk back from work, and it just felt like, oh, I should have had a big revelation change or something like that happened today. But it didn't, and I was very annoyed, and I got very wet.
Sex Bomb was Zoe's ringtone for about 15 years.
Yeah, Sex Bomb.
Do you know what my current ringtone is, Daniel?
Go on.
Kids from Stranger Things.
Kids.
From season 1, the soundtrack from season 1. You'll recognise it. I'm not going to play it on here, but you definitely know it. It's one of the best songs. It's one of the best parts of the soundtrack of the season of the year.
Well, I
think it's track 2 on the season 1 soundtrack, I think.
Oh, funnily enough, I just scrolled down randomly on my fucking Spotify to try and find that song, and
I can't read that.
See that? Oh yeah. What?
No,
but that's all of that is like the Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, okay, I recognise.
Movie
I can just
soundtrack.
Make out the cover art.
It's like the red cover, yeah.
I'm sure it's track 2 on the season 1 Stranger Things soundtrack.
It's that far down, actually. Oh, actually, I just scrolled past it. Oh no, that's the Kung Fury soundtrack.
Equally as good.
Yeah, it is. I played True Survivor for someone the other day. I fucking loved it.
David Hasselhoff.
Oh, here we go. No autopsy, run away, she'll kill you, no weapons. Pop out agency, sure, hanging lights. Lamps, ships like castle fires. Kids. It is the second one, you're quite right. I'll play that in a bit. So I know which one you're on about, but yes.
As soon as it starts, you'll know it.
I reckon most of them I will do, yeah, sure. But other than Marvel and DC and then a little bit of Star Trek, Callum, was there anything else that happened at SDCC that you're aware of and you wanted to talk about?
Off the top of my head, no, sir. So we've gone through pretty much everything of massive importance. I assume there'll be some Riverdale stuff, some other CW stuff going on, maybe. I don't know. I literally looked at the Marvel and DC stuff and called it a day. So, but honestly, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Don't know if you've got
cool.
Any other ones?
No, mate. Well, Before I choke to death, we'll leave it there, I reckon.
Do on your own time, sunshine. So you can head over to podcastversusplayer.com. It's at the bottom of the screen right now, where you can see loads of other things, including Let's Plays, game shows, quizzes, reviews, everything's on there. And by the time this podcast goes up, there's been a whole new update to the homepage on the website. Looks all spiffy, including our new like cover nail for the Calendar and Play series. Did another one to replace the old one. Been a busy old weekend, Dan.
I'm just seeing how long that again you can't do an outro. I just don't think you're capable of doing it.
Nah, that's it. I've got nothing else. Bye.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.